Good evening there, folkses. Welcome back to another stream with me, Fluent Code. Let me just twist and tweak the camera there. Here in the UK, live on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch and YouTube. The YouTube thing seems like a bit of a waste. I don't know if it's actually worthwhile doing it for miniature painting, but we will brave that storm for now. Yeah, this is, sorry, I've just got a, what was that? Spam, basically. Yeah, this is D&D miniature painting again. Another stream of D&D miniature painting, because we are actually having a proper good time with it. Now, I am actually being plagued by a fly right now, so the monstrous ghoulies that we seem to have on our desks seem quite appropriate. Let me just sort out my stream manager here, because yes, my on out chart. Let's sort this business out. See what's going on. Yeah, we've been having a great fun with these D&D miniatures. Lovely, simple miniatures that are... Oh, there we go. That are absolutely a joy to paint. Well, I say they're a joy to paint. They're not. They're shocking to paint. But close you, close you, close you. There we go. That's the phone plugged in as well, and it hasn't crashed the computer, so we're all good there. But this is what we're talking about. These are our lovely little D&D miniatures. Now, I actually tried a bit of an experiment on this one the other day, and what I did was, I mean, you should know, you were there when I did it. I plonked a coat of the contrast white all over this guy, and I am loving the effect that it's had of just bringing this sort of cloudiness to it. It's evened up the colour. It's made the colour really, really nice and even, whereas it was looking a little bit blotchy before. But it's also just added this sort of weird, sort of crusty effect to it, which I'm loving, absolutely loving. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit more work on our... knock everything over. That's what we're going to do. Knock everything over. Bloody flies. There seems to be a bit of a pandemic here in the UK at the moment. The flies, they are just everywhere. Anytime you open a door, a window, anything, it's like fly heaven. Don't know what's going on. It's a pain in the bum. Yeah, we're going to do a bit more work on our Dracolich. Hopefully, we might be able to get all of the skeleton element done on him tonight. That would be really cool. Now, what I'm actually going to do, I'm pretty sure I showed you the test images where what Wizards of the Coast think that this thing should look like, where you've got these areas of sort of blued in muscle and what have you, that I am going to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the whole thing in the bone first, and then I'll come over the top of them. I'm not sure about the blue. I have seen a really, really nice take on this with bloody sort of gutsy style paint on it, and I don't know whether that's a bit more fitting for what I'm trying to achieve. So we'll see what we can do with this one. Now, what I'm going to do is, almost exactly as I did last night, I'm going to bang a coat of paint. See, this is what I was worried about. Moving this armature around, I think, has probably caused that there to crack. I mean, we can work around it. It's not the end of the world, but it is a bit of a pain. So I'm gonna paint all of this in skeleton bone, skeleton horde, bleached bone, whatever you... And then I will put this to one side like we did last night and let this dry. But because I'm actually getting a coat on this right at the start of the session, I'll hopefully be able to get a bit more of him done than I did last night, because we kind of started him off quite late into the session, didn't we? So oh, cat, really? Right, hold that thought. I am going to kill that fly at some point, but before then I am going to let cat out. Come on in. Good job you got me early. Good job you got me early. Before I got too comfortable in front of the camera. Oh, right, let's try and pick it up. Do you know what? It is getting quite warm, so hopefully we won't have too much input from the neighbours tonight, and we'll be allowed to have a little bit of ventilation. Who knows, if it gets too bad I might even have to take my hat off. Right, so I'm going to work on this inside edge first, because that seems to make sense to do this bit, and then I can probably do the outside edge without having to bend too much about to get to it. So we're just going to very, very simply shade this. Now, I know this is actually not making particularly fantastic TV because of the angle. So let's see if we can move that without breaking too much. Has he got an extra bony vein thing going on this wing? I don't know, he hasn't actually. Just me being silly. Right, there we go. There we go. Right, that's one coat, or rather one spar. What do we call this? I know if we were talking about a plane, it would be a spar. Would we say that was a rib? Not a rib, is it? Because it's not a rib bone, but by moving this arm, I'm now putting the other side of that under tension, you can see where that's starting to crack as well. And you're going to have to be quite careful about these. Thankfully, once they're done, they are done. I don't need to mess about with them too much. But the actual movement in the model, whilst it's good because I can chuck this model on the floor and probably nothing will happen to it. I say probably because I don't know, there's always a possibility, isn't there? That this PVC will just give up the ghost and crack or split or come apart at the seams, or who knows, something might happen to it. Right, there we go. That is the inside now of that one done, and I think that was actually quicker than the other wing. So we are improving on our time to kill. I mean, time to paint. Right, now we can come along and paint all of this. I've just knocked a little flake of paint off, but I'm not actually going to worry about it too much. That area there, I might see if that will take some actual paint at a later juncture. This is a super nice colour for sort of dirty bone like this. But you do have to use quite a lot of it. You can't just sort of scrimp and save on it, because it doesn't quite look right when you do. I am very tempted to just add the tiniest line along there as well, where I think yesterday that got missed. That looks better. Right. Yeah, you can't scrimp and save on some of these contrast paints. You do have to put quite a bit on in order to get a decent effect out of them. It's almost like it's a scam. I don't think it's a scam. I think it's just me being quite lazy with my my paint application, and it definitely goes on nicer when you splurge the paint around a little bit. So, a giant undead dragon. I did do my due diligence and check out some of the background lore on kobolds, and it turns out that they're just basically cowardly little buggers who like to live in amongst dragon hordes, and the dragons don't care because they're so small that they couldn't carry anything off, and they like to stick around the dragon anyway. So they're not trying to escape with his horde, they're trying to stick around him for, like, longevity, because the dragon then protects them. I'm not sure what the dragon gets out of it, other than maybe company? I don't know. Do you think a dragon might need company? It depends on the dragon, because obviously different dragons are different sort of influences, aren't they? Like blue dragons are kind of the dragon mobsters, like the dragon mafia, which could totally be a thing in my next campaign. You never know. Right. Yeah, look, we've got a bit of cracking on that wing as well, which is unfortunate, but kind of unavoidable at this juncture. Hopefully we're going to cover it up and it then won't be a massive problem for me later down the line. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we can slap a bit of bone on it on that side. Slap a bit of bone on it. That's them neighbours I was talking about. It's alright, I don't think they're going to be too noisy and pose too much of an issue. If they do, I'll close the window. But it will actually start to get quite warm in here over the course of the summer, so we might have to invest in getting our fan or something down, which is fine except for the background noise that fans add, which I know typically streams have had problems with. You put a big fan on, it's moving a ton of air, but it's a mechanical noise in the background, and the these microphones will often pick that up, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll see what we can do. So there we go. Now, bit of a milestone for me is that I hit my requirements for affiliate. but it can take a few days to kick in. So fingers crossed. I'm not entirely convinced that it's the right thing for the channel to take the affiliate status straight away, but also I would actually like to start working on some emotes and things like that, and you can't actually do any of that until you take the status. So we'll see about whether or not we're going to first of all get the email to say congratulations, and if we do, whether or not we take it right now, because it just adds another thing to the stream that you need to manage, because then you need to actually manage your ads, because if you just let your ads run as intended, people end up with pre-rolls and all sorts, and there's a lot of guidance and a lot of people telling you what to do out there, and I will probably take that guidance as best as I can, see if we can manage that side of things as well. So there we go. Our bone dragon, our Draco leash, is actually starting to look pretty cool. Like I say, I'm going to put a coat of this bone over the whole model, and then I'll come back and detail in some of these areas where I think there's like ligaments and stuff. As I say, the artwork for this thing has that in blue, and I don't think they should necessarily be blue. I don't know what colour a ligament actually should be, but it feels like it might be better in a dark sort of red colour. Hi there, Badger. How are things? It feels like only a moment ago I was watching your channel. Thank you very much for dropping by with your raiding party. How is everyone? I am absolutely spiffing. I have discovered that my streaming room is starting to get a little bit warm as well. So we have the window open, and if we just listen, actually I think my microphone is set up correctly. That's not a dig, by the way, that's not a dig. I think the microphone is set up so that we're not picking up the bird song in the background, but I'm picking it up, and it's lovely. It is absolutely lovely. It was very nice today. I didn't actually have to go out onto site too much today, so I got to sit in our lovely air-conditioned office, which is okay until you leave it, because then you get out there in the real world and you realise what everybody else has been putting up with all day. Indeed, birdsong is beautiful, and fingers crossed we keep some of it in this country. I've realised that I need to add a bit more contrast to some of these areas, because otherwise we're not actually contrasting, we are just staining it. Because if you don't have enough meat on it, enough liquid on there, it doesn't actually work properly. Anyway, so your stream went well, I take it. I mean, I know I've only been out of it for 10 minutes or so, but it seemed like you had a really good time this evening, and that dreadnought was looking absolutely fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a spider-legged dreadnought before, so that was something new for me. It's looking cracking, mate. It is really, really looking the part, so you should be proud of that one. That can definitely go up on your Insta, I reckon. Okay. the glorious purple website. Yeah, I am a little bit familiar with that one, I must say, to the point that I hate it. I simply hate how badly optimized that website is. You sit there and you click on something that looks interesting and then have to wait 3.5 business days for the imagery of it to load up. Yeah, indeed. But it serves its purpose. If you know exactly what you're looking for, then you don't need to see the imagery of it. So, you know, God bless thumbnails and stuff like that, where you can just go, I don't need to see it, just click download. And then it takes you to another page and says, oh God, you forgot to log in. I think I'm going to actually probably end up using most of a pot of skeleton horde on this bad boy, because this is, surprisingly enough, a bone dragon involves quite a lot of bone colour. I mean, you know, nobody could have predicted that. I don't know how anybody could have foreseen that being a thing. Here we go. Right. I was kind of always put off, ever so slightly. At the time, I was put off by the 80s metal look that an undead army seemed to have, and now that I've grown up, I realise it is the greatest aesthetic that an army could ever have, and I desperately wish I'd have picked up models for it at the time, rather than now having to desperately search for STL files of skeletons. What's this? 80s metal on your skeleton banners? God, no thank you. I have some taste, and now I realise that actually I had no taste at all as a teenager, and I should really just have bought all of the skeletons. I've just worryingly noticed what I think is the skeleton dragon's knob, so I might have to blur that. Yeah, those banners were absolutely fantastic. Right, this is actually more of this dragon than I intended to paint in one sitting, because it is becoming a little bit hard to keep hold of without dipping my hands into the bits that I've already painted. And the trouble is that contrast paint does stay wet for a little while, so in a moment I'm going to have to pop this down and move on to more gibbering mouthers. What's that, I hear you say? What's a gibbering mouther? Well, aren't you? See, this is, so that's done for a little while now, because, you know, once you drop a model, it's time to pop it to one side. Right, let's rinse this bad boy, and I'll show you the other models that I'm working on at the moment, or the other models that pick up a cup of tea. That is a very good point. Look, here's a proper cuppa, unlike this bad boy, which I have drunk paint water before, but it's not advisable. There we go. Right. These bad boys are gibbering mouths, but I'm not going to show you that one. I'm going to show you this. No, this one. They are truly disgusting monsters that simply feature mouths and eyes. It's literally a bunch of mouths and eyes, and all of these mouths and eyes are their previous victims. And when it consumes them, the mouth and then the eyes sort of emerge on the surface and start babbling away at you. And they're quite off-putting, and you do actually suffer the negative effects of listening to these things if you're anywhere within earshot. So yeah, they are quite disgusting. They're also, believe it or not, rather deadly in D&D. They will certainly hurt a low-level party. So I plan to throw them at my low-level party when I finally get them all back round the table. We've had a bit of setback, really. There's been some health issues and what have you that have left some people unable to attend for a while. So I'm really hoping that we get everyone back around the table fairly quickly, and we can have some fun. Yeah, terminal, unfortunately, but it's something that's been terminal for 30 years, so it makes for an interesting session zero when you ask one of your players how they feel about death. No, I mean, her and her family have grown up around it. They talk about it constantly, and it's a very liberating conversation to have, because at that point there's no fear. There's nothing to fear if you're immersed in it day to day. And so from an outsider's point of view, from my point of view, it's fascinating. But she's taken a bit of a turn for the worse recently, so everybody's being very supportive. And we've all sort of popped everything we possibly can on hold. You know, there's no way that she can sit at a table for more than a couple of hours, which is what a D&D session takes. So we're trying to sort of work around things, and hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll be back at the table before we know it. So, yeah. But yeah, it does make for some interesting conversations when you realise that no matter what she says about how comfortable she is with her character dying, you're probably never going to kill it. So you have to find some other way of dealing with peril, which to my other players' mortal chagrin is I put them in exceedingly harder peril that she has to help out. It's almost like plot armor for one character only, but don't tell her I said that, because she'd probably be mortified to learn it. Right, so we have gibbering mouthers. I'm gonna just come in and start painting back these eyes. It's all right. I've no idea if she actually watches the stream, so I could find myself coming out of the stream to a text message and a "what the hell are you doing" kind of thing. So fingers crossed. Yeah, no, these guys are great. I do love these models. They're just sort of kind of the right side of cheeky to stop them being incredibly creepy. So all we've done is hit them with, originally this was a coat of, so we've put purple in their mouths, and then Plague Bearer flesh originally, and I decided that the Plague Bearer flesh wasn't quite even enough in colour. It had gone very blotchy, but not in a good way. It didn't look like plagued blotchy, it just looked blotchy. So what I've actually hit it with is a coat of Apothecary White over the top, and it's given it this sort of cloudy effect, which has actually gone really nice. So I'm just going to come along and paint in all of these multitude of eyes with a bit of white, and then we'll line these out with a very, very thinned down coat of red around the eyes, and I'll probably dribble a bit of red into the mouths as well at the same time. Just get this into a position where I can paint it, and then that'll form like a lining to the eyes in the red, and then I'll have to come back and paint individual pupils in there, as well as individual teeth. I do like to make a bit of work. Right, what's that in there? That looks like another eye. We'll fill in. Could have been an eye, maybe. Who knows? Right. Yeah, D&D does have a habit of making the most bizarre monsters. Some of them are almost too bizarre to be believable at times, really. But then, you know, for anybody who cries out, "My immersion," when it comes to D&D, you've just got to take it less seriously. Oh, that's a weird eye. I do like it though. Let's have a look. See, the one thing I hadn't considered when I opened my window is the fact that we live in an army training town, and I can now hear the helicopters in the background. So fingers crossed, because those boys do get loud when they come down over the head of what appears to be about 12 feet above your house. That they are really rather noticeable that they're there. So just checking whether or not we've missed any. It's not essential that you get them all, but I'd like to get most of them. There's one in there that I've missed, isn't there? Yes, yeah. I have a feeling that I'm not a million miles down the coast from you, but yes, it's very noisy when they. Yeah, yeah. I think I know the one that you mean, actually. I say not a million miles, but you know, nothing in England is a million miles away from each other. But right. No problem, buddy, no problem. Everybody needs to eat and to freshen up. I don't blame you. You take care. It's lovely to have you drop by, and I will hopefully catch you on your next stream, even if it is just for a bit when I get in from work. So take care, buddy. Thank you very much for dropping by. Thank you very much for the raid and bringing all your wonderful viewers with you. Yeah, hopefully we'll. I'll keep them I'll keep them warm for you, fella. I'll keep them warm for you. Right, that is eyes on that one done. What I might do is I might actually ship that one off of the painting handle and get the eyes painted on the other two as well. I've done them in different shades, so that one, when I get these D&D models, they normally come as a triple, because they come as part of a box set for a board game. So mostly they come in threes. What I like to do is paint two of them in the sort of standard colours that the book shows them. This one does actually look a little bit redder on in real life than what you see on the camera. I can't seem to get the white balance correct for red. I don't know whether it's a particularly difficult colour for the cameras to register. And you see this is as red can be in real life, except on here, on the camera, it looks a lot more orange. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna struggle with the camera picking up reds. This looks a lot more red in real life, and this, well, those two look almost identical, but they are very different shades in real life, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. They're the sort of standard colours that they come in the book, like D&D Wiki, places like that have them. So I tend to do one that's different, just enough to break it up a little bit, and that's really nice. Then it looks like you have a boss one as well. So in this case, it will be the sickly green one is our boss one, and then the two red ones will be our sort of standard boys, which I think is quite nice when you put them on the table. If your players have an opportunity to go, oh, what's special about the green one, or you know, why is that one green, and then you can play it off as a, well, that's the one that's in charge, or you can just say nothing, they just come in different colours. So it gives you options. Not that I particularly imagine that these guys have bosses. They are very much considered an, is it aberration? Yeah, I think aberration, which is, you know, just a, oh dear Lord, these things are unholy. And we'll just do the same again. We'll paint in all of the eyes in white. We'll then line them out with red, and then paint in little, oh, that's gone a bit wonky, hasn't it? Try and correct that a little bit. That saved it just about. And then we'll paint in a little pupil on each one. Some of them will be sort of cat's eye pupils, others will be round dots, almost like sort of human eyes, because these are obviously all different species of eyes, because these come from their prey rather than from themselves, so they're especially ick. Oh, lovely. Right, I'm not going to touch that one under there. I am going to paint in these ones. Unfortunately, some of these eyes are what look like eyes, might just be, you know, again, I won't go into details about why this is a thing in my D&D campaign, but some of these what look like eyes or mouth, or the eyes sometimes are just orifices, which is such a wonderful word that I'm growing very fond of due to our D&D campaign, where we've, you know, substituted or created a derivative of the yawning portal in our own tavern called the Gaping Orifice, which, I mean, has our DM a little bit flummoxed, but it also has one of our players extremely uncomfortable, because he says whilst his character would probably actually rather like the idea, he's just a bit uncomfortable by it, which I don't blame him, but you know, what's done is done. We can't change it now. We shall just have to deal with the consequences of our actions at a later date, I'm sure. So yeah, these should be quite nice to line out with red, because that should still sit quite nicely in the rim around these eyes, that the contrast paint should pick up quite nicely. So we'll line them out in red in a moment, and then we'll come along and paint in little pupils on each of them, and likewise the teeth on the mouths will get a coat eventually once I neaten up how the mouths are portrayed. Again, I think the mouths might benefit from a little dip of red in there as well. I do wonder whether the eyes are in particular related to any one mouth, which I think would be quite kind of disgusting, but right. Okay, there we go. That's another set of rather disgusting eyes done. Yeah, looks pretty good. And then this guy here is the final, more pinky version. So I did each of these with a slightly different recipe each time. Obviously the green one was a very different recipe, but the two red ones, the first one I painted him flesh coloured and then put a wash of red over the whole thing, and I think that's created some darker shadows. With this one I mixed the red and the flesh colour together and painted it all in one hit, and that's created softer shadows across the whole model, which is quite nice. It's a bit subtle. I say subtle, there is nothing subtle about a eyes and mouth monster. What's that? You want subtlety from a D&D monster? Oh, good luck. Right. Is that an eye there? All painted. I think we've missed that on all the others, or it hasn't been defined enough on all the others. Because obviously there is sort of casting variations on these as well, even though they are a very low quality model. There's a number of different sort of mould lines that you can pick up on and what have you, and some of them have them and others don't, and because you get them in threes, you can actually see how one is a much better casting than the other, or I'm assuming these are a injection moulded sort of thing, injection moulded casting, or however it actually works, I don't know. Go. Not so many eyes left on this one now, just the tiny little ones here, over here, and then a couple running up the side of the big slopey thing there. Oh, that's looking good. Right. So, I'm going to fish out our red contrast in a moment and then line these eyes. No, we're not. No, we're not. I'm going to get the purple out again and redo some of these mouths, because I did miss some. There's a couple that I've missed. And I kind of want them all to be at the same stage, and then I might use a bit of red in those as well to emphasize the fact that they're mouths. And then I've got to come along again with probably white and pick out the teeth, because there's a whole load of them that have got little tiny teeth, look, like that. pick all of them out, which will be super duper fun on these disgusting models. Right, now rinse that white away so that we're not going to contaminate our brush at all. The lovely jingle of the paint pot water. Right, I'm going to keep it with the lighter red. Just excuse me for a moment, folks. Howdy, Queen of Sabotage. I am very well, and how about yourself? How are you? How is I won't say exactly where, but how is Germany today? Are you having lovely warm weather like we are here? Because it has been absolutely lovely today. Really, really nice. Been about highs of better as it was yesterday, yeah. Highs of about 23, 24 here in the UK today, which has been, beautiful. So, yeah. Oh, you're having a nice time over there as well. Well, that's good. That's good. Right. So, you are joining us as we paint these bad boys. These are Gibbering Mouthers, and I've got a couple of different colour ones here as well. I've got some ready type ones hanging around down here. So we've got the bodies on all of these done. Oh no, they are disgusting. Don't worry, they are terrible. Horrible models. So what we're doing is on this green one we've actually we've reapplied a white, the Apothecary white contrast paint over them, which has given them sort of given the body of it quite a nice cloudy look. But I just want to re-emphasize the purple in the mouths, because that has suffered a little bit from that. So I'm just going to go along and redo all of that, get it nice and dark in the, I'm not going to say orifices, crevices. That's no better. Crevices is no better than orifices. Send some energy to work. I think you'll find that dealing drugs is illegal. But it could certainly provide you with the energy that you need, or at least let you steal it from tomorrow's you. Right, here we go. This here, this one right there, along with the, I don't know if you can see it properly, the mouth underneath it and the eye above it, that is just the cheekiest little chappy. Look at that mouth. Once I paint the eyeball in there, you'll see what I mean, I'm sure. But that is just the cheekiest little boy. Right. So we are rapidly approaching another weekend. I have another D&D session planned for the Sunday, but here in the UK it's another long weekend, so I am properly looking forward to it. Actually, I believe Germany has the same long weekend, the May Day bank holiday. Is that right? Okay. No, is that not something you get? No access to long weekends, or? Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay, I see. So you're working in your time off. That's, well, I can't moan at you, because that's exactly what I just did on a week off. I was working for quite a portion of it. But you know, that's the things we do for our careers, I suppose. I know with mine, it was my own choice, but okay, 9 days and need to go there. Well, okay, yeah. Well, you're really selling it, whatever you do as a job, so you know, keep up the good work, or not, as it may be. Right, here we go. So that's the front of him done with all of his cheeky little mouths. Now there's one on here that I missed, which I don't know if you can see it. I think it's just a tongue, but I need to pick it out. You had to do the firing, did you? Well, it's never pleasant when you have to drop somebody. Oh, okay. So, yeah, quite a small team then. But generally, because of the field that I work in, when somebody is told they're being let go, they quite often get quite punchy, which is never a good thing. And then the guy who hired us. Oh, okay, yeah, that's not great. Oh, you were properly enthusiastic about giving him the job as well, weren't you? I think, or was that somebody different? Yes. Yeah, you don't need that. That's no way to purport yourself at work, unfortunately. I would expect something like that only if you know, somebody's seriously sick or a family member type thing. There are reasons, you know, people do have reasons for things, but yeah, if you enjoy your work a lot, I can tell by the way that you sell it. Yeah, I can definitely tell that you are enjoying your job, which is a good thing. I won't rub it in and describe how much I love my job at the moment, because I love my job at the moment. I spent 20 years in builders merchant sales, so selling things to builders merchants, and then one of my customers came along and he said, do you reckon you could manage a site? And I said, yeah, probably. And he gave me a chance, he gave me a job and said, all right, I'm going to take you on as a contracts manager. And it's the best decision I ever made. 20 years of working in a builder's merchant, and now I'm working for a building company and getting to see the other side of things and how much builders merchants can fuck over the guys on site, unfortunately. But yeah, I do actually love my job, so I am in a very lucky position. I know, you know, that not everybody is as lucky as that they can be in a job that they love. But if you're not in a job that you love, I highly recommend it. You know, as base as that sounds, well, you know, find a job that you love. It's so liberating for your body, for your soul, for everything, to be doing something that you actually enjoy. So get out there, guys, and do what you love. Unless that's like murdering people, don't do that. You know, keep that as just a hobby. I mean, there's nothing I can physically do to stop you, but I don't recommend it. I don't feel that it has legs as a career. In fact, I think it's very much not a good career choice. Yeah, you know, keep it on the back burner. Something that you can, you know, go back to at, I don't know, weekends or retirement or something. Please don't go out murdering people now. That would be very, I would feel, for at least like 10 minutes, I'd feel quite bad about things. Right, and just finish off this purple. Oh, hang on, I've got another one to do yet, haven't I? So we'll just do this one and then we'll finish off the purple on the other model. And it's got those mouths looking quite nice. See, look, I missed it on this one as well. There's one here which is just basically like a big tongue. Maybe he's the cheekiest chappie. Right, how are we looking here? So we've got that one, we've got this little tiny one here. another one over here, and then I think that's it. I think we're done again. Have we got everything on this one? There. There's a lot going on inside here, but nothing that I actually want to put paint on and try and define it. It's just going to look a bit like a blobby mess in there. So that one, and then finally we've got this guy again. But we missed the tongue on the back of this one as well. I don't reckon we thought that was a tongue at first. I reckon we thought that was like a Nurgle-esque fold of skin or something, but it's definitely a tongue, because I say it's definitely a tongue now. I hope everyone is enjoying the eyes and mouth monster painting session that we're having. I mean, they are slightly unfortunate models, but they were on the desk, so they do deserve their time under the brush. And I am going to quite enjoy putting them in front of my players, because they are just as disgusting in the game as they look out of it. They consume anyone that they knock unconscious. They slide over him, and then they absorb them, and the eyes and mouth appear on the surface of the gibbering mouther. That's what they're called, a gibbering mouther. What a fantastic name. But they babble, so that you can't concentrate, and then you end up dead, just like that. So I am looking forward to them. I do have some other models on the desk here. I've got some very basic bog standard wolves, who I think are going to be next under the brush, because these aren't going to actually keep me occupied for too much longer now. So I'm going to have to add some more models to the list of paint. And then, as I said the other day, what I plan on doing is updating my Discord and Insta with a collection of painted models. So all the models that we've painted on stream, I'm hoping that I can spend a day or so uploading to my Instagram and the Discord, and I get to share them with everybody, because there's a couple there that I'm actually quite proud of. I think that yes, we've used quite a cheaty, speedy painting technique, but some of them have actually come out really, really nicely for that. So perhaps I should share them and give everyone else a chance to bask in my cheaty speed paint glory, or some crap like that. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have them out there trying to sabotage, and you know, I've enjoyed looking. Oh, my back, it's going. That's not good. Oh, I'm sitting in the wrong position there. I might need to just stand up for a moment. So excuse me while I suck in my belly, so you can't see it on camera. Let me just click my back. Bear with me a second, folks. Oh. That's better. Sorry about that. Right. Where were we? Well, where we were where? I am shitting with you there. I'm not actually talking like that. I'm going to create a very, very thin mix of red to line the eye sockets so that each one looks a little bit bloodshot and disgusting. So we'll use the contrast medium. I do like messing around with the thinner for contrast paint, because it is actually quite a lot better than if you were to use something like water. So I've just realised on the camera that the two sort of reddy brown ones look like little turd monsters. So just a tiny bit of red into the thin solution. Right, and now very quickly, because we don't want it to dry out, because I have noticed that the contrast medium can dry out stuff quite quickly, we will just come along and just paint it into the recess of each of these eyes. And just like that, they each become little bloodshot. Oh, that one looks quite good with it in the middle. It hasn't contrasted properly. It hasn't, done the contrasty action where it flows to the edge. It's pulled in the middle, so that one looks quite good as just a... Yeah, okay. We'll take that. We'll take that and run with it. I do wonder whether I should thin this a little bit more for the next one, but I'm gonna run with it as is. Don't really want to have to be highlighting the eyes again. So fingers crossed that does start to blend down towards the depths. Thin it a little bit more, a little tiny bit more. There we go. Right. We are just going for a look rather than a... That's all good. Oh, hang on there. Hold on, my friend. No, maybe I have thinned it too much now. Now it's just a bit of a contrast medium with a tiny bit of red paint in it. It's still just about doing its job, I think. So we might be lucky here and make it work. Well, there's so many of these little guys that you just lose track of them, don't you? And I might even need to mix up some more as well. No, that's way too much on the brush. Right, have we got any more eyes to do? No, I think that is... Actually, they are looking pretty sweet, some of those. So we'll come along and we'll pick out some pupils in that in a moment. Right. Now, no, there is definitely something not quite right about that mix. Let's... Ah, he escaped. They don't fit terribly well in this handle. Not that they don't fit at all, it's just this handle is definitely designed for the much more uniform Citadel miniatures. And the Citadel bases and what have you. So now I see why in that one there that it's settled in the middle, because that's actually like a divot in there rather than an eyeball. So I mean, I say divot. I say divot because I don't want to use the word that we're all thinking of. And the word is orifice. Stop using orifice. Right, now hopefully this will start to drain into the sort of recesses of each eye. It's doing it quite nicely on the green one, but obviously there's a lot less definition between this red and the red of the body on these ones, so I can't really tell that it's happening correctly. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that that's working nicely there. Okay, that's a decent selection of little red lined eyes on there as well. And then on this one, I don't think we're actually going to notice where I do this, so let's mix up a little bit more contrast. Yeah, this one is going to be a lot less noticeable because it's already quite red. It's funny how that works, isn't it? What do you mean it's not funny at all? Okay, fine, you win. Sorry, I'm pretty much just rambling now. This is default for when I get into a almost a staring match with the model. I'm just like, yep, okay, make sure you get all of the weird eyes and focus on nothing else but weird eyes for like 5 minutes. And then my conversation starts to go a bit, eyes? Yeah, paint eyes. Paint the eyes. Don't forget, paint the eyes. So hopefully we've painted all of the eyes. Have I painted all the eyes? I think I painted all the eyes. Some of them have worked, some of them have gone quite nicely. Like down there, there's a bit of a red highlight ring going on around the eyes. I think it'll look okay once we paint in the pupils on them anyway, so there's always that. That's a success. So right. So as I was talking about the wolves, that's these boys here. It's amazing how a very, very simple enemy, often there's not an awful lot of correctly scaled models out there. So, you know, if you were to use like a citadel wolf, like a goblin rides on, that's like 4 times the size of this one. And, you know, we live near one of the best zoos in the country, and I've seen wolves. This wolf is pretty hench for a lot of, you know, sort of standard timber wolves. They're not as big as media and others make out. So of course, when you actually find the right size model, you're like, oh shit, that's quite small. But it's not. It's actually the correct size. It's the right size for what it should be. Now, why can't I find? I say why can't I? I can never actually find the colours that I'm after. So, as it's a wolf, it's only fitting that at least one of them gets a coat of Space Wolf Grey. That's all I can say, really. I'm going to whack this all over the model, and then I might find some darker greys or maybe even some browns to do like tips of ears and facial features and stuff like that. Do I want to keep them quite white in the face? No, I don't. I'm going to just do it this way. So we're just going to let our gibbering mouthers breathe for a moment, because we have focused on them quite a bit this session. And I'm just going to go ahead and whack a bit of a coat of Space Wolves. This isn't grey, it's clearly blue, all over this model. As you can tell, I mean, to be fair, Space Wolves aren't grey, Space Wolves are blue, and they always have been blue. And I won't let none of that 6th edition grey nonsense sway me either. They're blue. Space Wolves are blue, always have been blue, always should be blue. But that is actually a really nice colour. I will keep some of the facial features on him quite white, and then if I want to do anything else, maybe come down across the nose. And then, do wolves have pink noses or do wolves have black noses? I don't know. I guess it depends on the wolf. Does it? Maybe? I don't know. I'm now going to have to look up, do wolves have pink noses? I don't think they do. I think wolves are a black nose kind of animal. But it might depend upon the colour of the wolf. You know, certain dogs have sort of noses that are coloured like them. And some of them I think have pink noses, but oh, there we go, that's wolf done. I mean, if I wanted to, I could actually put that on the table and say, it's a wolf, it's done, and it's recognisable as well. All I need to do is paint the base black, which I will be doing. I'll be doing a session of base painting, not on stream though, because that sounds incredibly boring to watch. I won't submit you guys to that. I do have some conscience. Oh, my tea, I forgot about that. Right. Now, I don't know whether people would prefer to see us finish off mouthers now that we've got quite a way through them. but I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll go with Black Templar for this. Even though it's a contrast paint, this actually works really, really well for sketching on details and what have you. And all we're going to do is we are going to start drawing on pupils. Small brush, and just go sparingly. See, now that green one, I think that green one is going to look really, really nice once we get some pupils in there. So some of these are going to be little just dots. Some of them are going to be quite large dots. Others are going to be like cat's eye slits. Like that one. I'm going to do a few of them, to be honest with you, because we need to break it up a little bit. So I often find this, as soon as you start painting eyes on miniatures, they instantly become twice as terrifying. Because that's just the nature of eyes. A lot of the time, eyes are what makes something scary. Look at these. See, now that's starting to look kind of terrifying. I hate it. It's disgusting. And we haven't even done all of it yet. I'm properly pleased that we decided to go for the Apothecary white coat on this one, because that has just added, I think, a whole another level to that miniature. Right, there we go. That is our eye monster done. I'm just going to go back and pick out the teeth later. And I am just going to pop a tiny little bit of black into the recesses of these mouths. Just because that'll help to add a tiny little bit of depth to them. Not all of them, obviously. But most. There we go. Right. And that's how we do that. How do you like them apples? I think that is disgusting. See, again, it's just a case of random. Is this one going to be a dot? Is this one going to be a cat's eye? And just pick and choose as you do each one. Some of them have tiny little sculpted on sort of irises, and I'd suggest that you stick with that style for those eyes. But for everything else, dot or slash, dot or slash. And it doesn't really matter which one you choose because it's your model. They are cool though, right there. Okay, that's another series of freakish looking eyes. Oh god, you can almost make them look in different directions as well as you're popping the eyeball, you know, the iris on each one. That's disgusting. So it's literally just black dots on all of these guys. And they do reward just changing it up a little bit. There we go, boys. Just donk the camera again. A pretty bad habit of that. This hat is enough to knock the camera out at least once a session. Yeah, now that is truly looking disgusting. Welcome back, Queen of Sabotage. I hope the work went well. Work? It must be like gone 10 o'clock there, surely. What are you doing? What are you doing? And just remember, no one remembers the times that you stayed on extra at work, and the only people who remember that are your kids. Sorry, I don't mean to sound preachy. That's ridiculous. You do whatever you need to do. You have to be the judge of your own. Right, just a tiny little bit of black in each of these mouths, just to add a bit of depth, because we love a bit of depth. And then I need to get some teeth in those mouths, and that's really going to sell this model, I think. All three of them, actually. They are all pretty disgusting, especially now that we've gone and got these eyes on. Those eyes really do make them stand out. Right, there we go. So now it's teeth time. The bit I'm sure you've been waiting for. Teeth time. Let's hit them up. So let's start with our glorious green dude. I don't know whether you managed to see that, Queen of Sabotage. This is our icky looking green dude now. Who I think those eyes are just starting to look absolutely perfect. And now we need to come along and decorate the teeth for him. So I'm going to do it in plain white, not Wraithbone. The reason being is that the Wraithbone that I've got is starting to thicken up a little bit. And no amount of shaking it is going to bring it back just at the moment. I might need to decant it into a dropper bottle and water it down with some matte medium, something like that. But for now, I think it would be a better idea to use white for this. The reason being is that the Corax white that I've got is still actually remarkably runny. So effectively I can almost paint it directly from the pot and maintain a bit of control over it, which is rather nice. So all we're going to do, we don't need to hit every tooth, but we do need to kind of make it obvious what we're dealing with, and that is teeth. Yeah, that's a big one. lots and lots of yummy teeth to pick out. It's kind of cool, but not as good as I was hoping. So fingers crossed these do start to look better as they all come good and start to dry a bit. I love how this mouth here just appears to have a couple of like molars and that's it. And then across the top there's a bit more toothage. So I wonder what mouths that came from. Oh, I wonder if you could like identify individual type of mouths by just picking out a few here. Don't need to pick out every single one, just enough to bring in the illusion of teeth everywhere, because that's part of what the image art of these things is just teeth everywhere. Well, that's certainly got the idea of some teeth going on. Happy with that, actually. None in that one because it's just a tongue. How are we looking for time? Right, we are hopefully going to go the distance tonight because we've had a couple of cut short streams this week, which I like. I'm trying to aim for consistency as I decide what are my ideal streaming nights. So hopefully I don't get called away that I have to go and do something to for bed. Right, last few little bits of teeth everywhere, and then just there as well. Right, how do we think that looks? I mean, they're not exactly detailed, but the model isn't detailed, so you know we're getting a good idea of teeth where there should be teeth. We've got a good idea of eyes where there should be eyes, and I think that is a truly horrible little miniature done. Oh look, that one there almost looks like two eyes and a mouth. in the weirdest possible way. There we go. Right, cool. That's that one done. Let's hit up the next one. And I've just rinsed off the brush, but I am pretty much using the paint directly from the pot, so starts to get a little bit claggy with this tiny little brush. So doesn't matter how much you sort of try and water it down, and I'm not going to get two brushes going at the same time, otherwise I'll forget about one and then it'll end up with paint dried on it. Oh no! Oh no! Ah! I got paint on it. Never mind. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Queen of Sabotage, thank you very much for dropping by this evening. It's been a pleasure to have you in the chat as always. I do hope you'll be able to make the next stream, but you have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I'll catch you again soon. Have fun. Right, we are. This is so nearly it now. Just got this last few little teeth on this one, and we have one more in the bank. Do. As I say, the brush just picks up that little bit of extra paint every single time you dip it, and it then just ends up a little bit claggy. You've got to wick it off. And I don't know why, but this mouth up here, that mouth and those eyes, they remind me of Cartman. Maybe I'm mad. Maybe I'm losing it. After all, painting all of these weird eyes and mouths has got to take a toll on you somewhere, hasn't it? Perhaps I'm losing it. Right, that is another one done. Last one. The last one. This is going to be the best one as well. No, I think the green one is probably the best one. Yeah, I think the green one is probably the best one. We'll have to see how this one comes out, but I'm not trying to play for favourites. They've all got a special place in my heart, and that is Utter Revulsion. Very, very tiny little details, and I am absolutely pooped already. Right, come on. Final little stretch. We've just got these tiny teeth to paint, and then we can call it a day and go to bed. Because that's what I do. When I get off with you guys, I'm straight to bed, to be fair. Well, there's nothing left of the day, really, by the time I get off with you guys, so... Excellent. Just this last little bit here with the other Cartman mouth, which again does look surprisingly like him. And that's it. Huzzah, huzzah, we are done. Look at that. And on time as well, because it is just a few minutes to 10, which will put us at almost the exact 2-hour mark. Now, I hear you say, what have we achieved in our 2 hours today? Well, we have finished off 3 utterly revolting gibbering mouthers. Now, they're quite difficult miniatures to display, really, because where do you begin with displaying a gibbering mouther? Do you just go for the full-on? I wish I had a like a Lazy Susan camera with a spinning thing that I could point it down and then spin it round. I've seen people with those. They're a thing, aren't they? I might do that. I might end up getting one. So these are our bad boys that we have finished. We've got 2 red ones and a green one. I missed the mouse there. No, I can't miss a mouth. I've got to go and finish him now. Quickly, get the white out. Ah, we've missed our window. No, we haven't. We've got a tiny bit of time before 10 o'clock. All we're doing is just putting a couple of little dots of paint in this mouth. We can't mess that up, can we? There we go. Look at that. It's like the alien's inbred sister. Right. So then, folks, that is another stream. That is Wednesday down. Yeah, been having a great week, to be honest. I'm loving this. We are cracking away at our painting. We're having a lovely time with our gibbering mouthers here. But let's just have a look at there we go. Look at these boys sat there in all their gibbering mouthing glory. What the hell is that? There's noise in the background. I'll tell you what, I didn't realise, but I could centre my camera much easier if I knew what I was doing. There we go. That's pretty much a lot more centred. Right, folks, that's our stream for today. We have finished 3 more models. We have made minuscule amounts of progress on the skeleton dragon, but that's neither here nor there, to be honest with you, because we've been having great fun with each of them. So I will leave you today with a parting shot of these dudes. That I'm actually really pleased with them. I hope you can tell that, because I think those guys are just actually really characterful models. Although they're disgusting, they're crappy, they're quite simplistic sculpts, but just look at the character there. When you put that on the table in front of your players and go, Yeah, that's an eyes and mouths monster. They're going to know what you're talking about. So I'll leave you with a parting shot of these dudes, and we will, here we go, move that over so that you can see them. We will see you again tomorrow. I thank everybody who joined as part of the raid. It's really great to have you here. Different viewers. If you have enjoyed at all what you've seen, then I do urge you to hit that follow button. It means a great deal to me as a streamer, as I develop the channel. If you haven't enjoyed, then by all means, I understand. I'm an acquired taste, I am. Thank you very much for everybody who's dropped by. Thank you very much for all of the chatters, and even just those people who are happy to lurk. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Until the next one, which is tomorrow, don't forget. Good luck.